Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware anytime we put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our lovely channel sponsors, Untitled. Check them out in the description below. We have another ex-Hammer today. Made 3 first-team appearances, 3 more than me, 3 more than living my dream. Oh dear, your name's cropped up quite a lot, Shaun. It's quite, we've like
all good though.
all good. It is all good. It is all good. But a lot of the old pre-season tours and things like that, your name's come up when fans have met people. And Shaun was, you was always in the background, it seemed. And Shaun Byrne, it was always.
Makes a change.
Yeah. How are you? How are you, Shaun?
Yeah, I'm really well. Obviously, like everyone else, the way things are going, just getting on with stuff and all that. Working, there's family life. That's it now. That's what my
exactly.
life is now.
It is, isn't it? Although there seems to be more light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know what I mean now? At least there seems to be like...
Yeah, to be fair, it ain't been too bad for me. I mean, with the first lockdown, it was quite nice, actually, because I had about 7-8 weeks off.
Yeah.
And obviously my boy was off as well, so I got to spend a lot of time with him. And the weather was lovely, wasn't it? At the time we got
the first lockdown was piss easy.
Yeah, it was easy. But now it's sort of like draining on a bit now. But hopefully, what's coming up Monday, pubs open. Ain't too bad.
I'm not even...
get out and do a bit.
I'm not even a pub man. I'm not even a pub man. But something really excites me about this Monday. It's funny. I was driving around. I went to Melbourne. I haven't seen my old man for about a year, really. So we went to see him today, and I was driving through. He lives in Cheshunt, so I was driving through. I live in Hornchurch, so through like Epping and stuff like that, and you see all the pubs. They've all got massive marquees out the back of them now, because it's outdoor, isn't it? So it's technically outdoor, and it's like it's exciting. It's exciting, and it's the next step in it.
It is. It's been a bit bad, well, obviously, with everything that's going, because they spent all the money doing them up, and then they've got them again. Like, a lot of pubs around my way, because obviously like the locals, they've just closed. They've gone bust now. They've all gone, so it's pretty sad, really. So hopefully, now they're coming out, and things might change.
Yeah, and it's the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and and I mean, potentially we could stab, West Ham, we could have 10,000 fans back in the ground for the last game, which...
That's what I mean. It'd be nice, especially the way they're playing, the way they're going, It'd be nice to get a few fans in there just to, support them and see how they can progress and carry it on. Finish in the top 4, you never know.
Well, we just, as I said the other day, all we got to do is win our next 8 games and we're in the Champions League. That's it.
But do you know what it is? It's weird, because a lot of my family are West Ham, and my mates, and my brother's mates, and all that lot. And they say, West Ham's like supporters they get. They just go, when's it going to stop? Because they keep winning and keep doing well, but they're just waiting for that little thing. Well, 8 games left. There's no reason why they can't get there. No. And obviously, the way they're playing, the belief they must have, and the way they're playing, do you know what I mean? Surely they must know.
Definitely, it's true. I mean, but it is, as you know, a lot of your friends are West Ham fans, and we're used to that speed bump. That dead end, just because it's happened for, we haven't won nothing in 40 years. You know what I mean? So it's, I know what you mean though. It's, why not? Why can't we do it, man?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It'd be good to watch and see out the rest of the season, just to see how it goes. So it's quite exciting to be a West Ham supporter at the moment.
It's a really exciting time. It is really exciting.
Like you say, it'd be nice to get a few fans in for the last few games if you can, just for the boys and that, you know what I mean?
I think that, it's one of those things where I think with not having any fans in the stadium at the start of the season, it helped the team, no doubt, because we started slowly and there was a lot of hostility. We'd sold Diangana and all that. We haven't bought anyone and yada yada. But I think now, particularly in the last few games, so obviously the Arsenal game the other day where we 3-up and then drew 3-3, we never would have done that with a full capacity crowd.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't.
No, totally. I
would have allowed them.
To be fair, I think, like you say, with West Ham, I think a lot of people have said that as well. What you just said as well, we support them. You know what I mean? So
and the great thing is, by the time people go back into the stadium, whether it's 10,000 against Southampton or next season with a full, hopefully a full ground, all the hostility towards the team is gone. So it's like it's going to be a different. And I think people, I'm a great believer of, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And I think people have, they haven't, people are going 30, 40 years every game, home and away, and now they haven't for a whole year now.
Yeah.
And they're itching to get back. And I think people will appreciate, and hopefully the football clubs will appreciate the fans more as well.
Yeah.
So, because it makes huge difference. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, it's one of those times where you have to enjoy it. I think we're too busy. There's always, people are already moaning now. If we get into Europe, our squad's not going to be big enough to compete. I don't care.
Yeah, that's it. Just get in there. That's it. Just get there and worry about that when it comes to it. Just see what happens.
Exactly. Well, mate, it'll all sort itself out. So for anyone in a sort of, relatively young, so to speak, Shaun played for the Hammers. Was it? I think it was 1999 to, I think you left in 04. I think it was, wasn't it? Something like that.
Something like that. Yes. To be fair, it was that long ago. It don't seem that long ago, but it was. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was that long ago.
Do you remember signing for West Ham?
Yeah. To be fair, like a lot of people asked the same question. Mine was sort of a bit by chance. Because I remember my brother Paul, he used to play football. He's about 3 years older than me. And he got scouted by West Ham. And the training, where they went, train was up in Waltham Abbey. Yeah. Just at a leisure centre up there. Because I was only eight at the time, myself. And obviously I, being a supporter, my dad's a West Ham supporter and everything. So I just used to go, like you do with your older brothers, and watch them. And they were short one day. And I got called down to join in. And ever since then, after the first, he said, come back next week. And that was me. So I was there since I was about 8 years of age.
Mental.
When I was there.
Jesus.
Yeah. So that's how I got into it. I didn't really get scouted. Where my brother got scouted, and I just turned up, joined in a session, and then I can't remember who the coach was at the time. I can't remember his name. I was trying to think of it. But then I just kept going back there, and then obviously it moved from Waltham Abbey to Chad Belief. And then we used to go to Chad Belief a couple of times a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And then obviously you sign your schoolboy forms, then your YTS, and then I was lucky enough to get a few years pro as well. So I was there for I was 8. I think I left when I was about 24. So it was good, really good part of my life.
Get less for murder nowadays, Shaun.
Yeah.
Don't you? Fuck yeah. But I mean, and obviously, during that time, you said obviously you were fortunate enough to sign pro forms. I mean, when it came to signing those pro forms, was it always going to be West Ham, or was there other?
Yeah, for me, because I was there when I was 8. I mean, I had like sort of interest with other clubs, but it was always West Ham for me. Yeah. Just for the people, I sort of grew up with knew the same people, the coaches was there all the way through. Obviously, with it being like our club, like the family and everything, everyone supporting them. My dad, my brothers. My dad used to go and watch him play when he was younger, same as my brother. It was just a great club, like it was a family club as well, Yeah. So it was always going to be West Ham for me.
Yeah, always. And it's a great time to sign pros as well, because obviously, you'd had the youth team had just won the FA Youth Cup that season, won it that season really properly, and Harry was great, in terms of bringing youth players in. There was obviously, you had Rios and people like that. For a young kid signing pros, it must have been a really cool. I know there's you could have gone, people could have gone to Chelsea and stuff and sit in the academies and stay there, but actually you could see that there was a progression potentially there for you as well. Yeah, that's it. And obviously, like you say, with Harry, and like you sort of knew with like Rio was just coming through, and obviously you had Frank, then you had the other players like Lee Hodges, Manny, and all them like that. So you knew if you was doing well, and there wouldn't be an age factor if you was good enough and doing well, Harry would give you a chance. But I didn't see it like that. You could have other bigger teams. But West Ham, ever since we were playing under 14s to the youth team, we still had the best youth team out of everyone, I personally think, than any other team in the Premier League or the league that was there at our age, to be honest. So it was literally the best club to be at for a youngster. That's why it attracted all the youngsters. Yeah, the likes of Defoe came for us from Charlton, like Leon Britton from Arsenal. That's why they wanted to come to West Ham, because we did have one of in my 2 years as a youth team player, I can't remember a better youth team than ours. Arsenal had a good youth team, our age, and the year above. But we was chatting to a few of the boys the other day. I can't remember losing a game in the youth team. That many, there weren't many we lost. Daryl, I think there wasn't Daryl. Someone else said it. Oh, it might have been Hodges, or someone said it. It might have been Izzy, or someone said it. Yeah. We were just knocking everyone for fun. Like Newts, it might be Newts. Literally, we were knocking everyone for fun. We were steamrolling everyone.
It was that good of a youth team. It weren't just like beating teams. It was hammering teams.
That's what you said. Yeah.
Big teams like your Chelsea's. Obviously when it changed from to the Premier League. Because like you used to play your YT games and all that lot. You play that and then change to sort of the Premier League kind of thing. He was going like Man City, not smashing them up, and like teams like that. It was brilliant. Literally, in my eyes, I couldn't see a better youth team than what we had, or anyone would come up against. It was a great team.
Brilliant. And as you said, because you was there from a really early age and moving forward, it was your club. So it was a lot of players you're playing with. You played for many years with them as well.
Yeah,
so
that's it. I can remember the likes. I remember like probably. Because obviously we was there young, so we used to see him at training, but then when you started playing the games, like when you're 13, 14 on the weekends, when like we signed schoolboy forms, but like the likes of Izzy, Adam, Amos, Bertie, like all of us, we all, like even Carrick used to come down and play, he was there. We first met him when he was about 14, 15. We was all together until we were like 19, 20. And I think that's really what helped us in the youth team, because we literally knew how we played, the way we were, what was good for us, good for them, and because we spent so much time together and played together, I think that was half of why we done so well as a youth team.
And it's so true, man. And as you said, loads of success, and obviously, the proximity of being in Chadwell Heath, particularly when you're sort of, the YTS and obviously, going to the pro as well, pro contract, you're in close proximity with lots of big first team characters. I mean, in my opinion, and I've said this to everyone I've spoken to who was playing around your time, that was the last time for me football was fun.
As in the characters and the pros we had at time, it was brilliant. And especially for us, because like the youth team players, because as you said, Larry would give you a chance, but then so obviously when you started doing well, I was only about 17, 18, and you sort of move up to but then you go into their changing room. You're not in a youth, so you're sitting next to all these, and like you say, it's weird, like the likes of John Wonker, you had Kits in there, Razor in there. Do you know what I mean? I remember times Ian Wright and Davil Sukup, like all these players used to watch when you was little, and you're just sitting there as a 17-year-old just thinking, I don't know what I'm doing here, to be honest. But do you know what I mean? But it was that good. Do you know what I mean? Especially being the team you supported as a boy as well, and your family.
That's what I mean.
It was literally like overwhelming at times, to be fair. But it was such a good time and a good place to be at the time, because it was sort of like old school. It's nothing like it is now, if you know what I mean. Like you say, it's still like you'd all meet up and go, and they take you out for a drink and stuff like that when you come. It's still a bit of a drinking school and stuff like that. So it was such a good time and a good era that to be involved as a young pro around that kind of people.
Totally. No, it's so true. I think Newts is the same thing, like literally they'd drag you out for a night out, and and what I loved about it, because you said a lot of characters, and he said, look, we all just ripped, they'd rip out of us, but if we had to, they liked getting it back. They liked,
they did. They respected you if you come right now. I don't think they get away with, you get away with a lot of stuff they used to do to you back then that you would do now, nowhere near. But it was good. It's a part of growing up as well, to be fair. It's all young lads. We all moved down when we were young, 17, 18. Do you know what I mean? All living together. So, but it was nice that you had all them people there who would actually look after you. Do you know, they would, and if you needed help, they would, like the older pros, they would pull you aside, or they would always have time for a chat. Do you know what I mean? And help you. That was the best thing about West Ham. Everyone there was so good, and you could pull them, or they'd pull you and say, "Look, do this, do that." And if you was doing something wrong, they'd pull you in a nice way and tell you. Yeah. So that was the really good thing about being there at that time with all them players.
And I think that's something that people don't realise sometimes, but particularly the younger players at that time. It's a lot of people. I mean, we had Daryl on the other day. He was in a different country. It's on his own. He's told sharing digs and stuff like that. And I think Deck did an interview a few months ago, and he was saying he had to move when he was at Chelsea to go to West Ham. He had to move away from his mum at 14. Didn't see her to the weekend. It's tough, but as you said, brings a bond for you lot.
Well, that's what I mean. You have to grow up fast as well, so it's a good learning curve for you. I remember because Daryl, I didn't live in digs because I'm from Slough, so me and Adam, we're from the same area. I've known Adam since we were about 10 years of age, News. So we used to get the train down every day. It used to take us about 2 hours to get there, then train, do after you see it, because it was knackered. And then when we signed the pros, we moved up there. So they wouldn't let us get our own flat, because I think we was only 17 when we moved up there. So they put us in the digs. But I think Daryl just came in at that time. So he was 15. Like some Richie Garcia come all the way from Australia. He was only 15 when he turned up. And so he's come all the way from Perth, and he was living in digs somewhere with no one. At least when we went down, there was about 8 or 9 of us in the same digs in Romford, and we was all sort of a bit older. But for the likes of Daryl and Rich, who were only 15 when they come over, it must have been really hard for them. But that again, it was good having them people there, like I said earlier, and the old pros, because they would take the time out and look after you and show you around. So it was, for them, it was quite nice that them people and them characters were there for them.
Yeah, no, I totally understand it, man. Yeah, we've got Richie on soon, actually.
Is he coming on, is he?
Yeah, a couple of weeks' time.
Oh, fair play.
Yeah, it was funny. I spoke. He was like, "Oh, we're quite busy at the moment in fixtures, but not like busy like you're used to it.
Yeah.
You know, we have like 2 fixtures a week. Not like you're going. You know, so yeah, he's going to come in 2 weeks' time, so that'd be good. So it'd be interesting to talk to him as well about that, because obviously we had Daryl on the other day and he flew, but obviously he's other side of the world. You know, to 15, as you said. Absolutely crazy. And you know, and as we said, you know, you got a chance. You know, you ended up not just like, you know, playing in the old. You played 2 games in the Premier League, man. You know, it's like that's
it's. I mean, when you think of that, like, you don't appreciate as much, you know, because people, you know, like, you speak to some people, they're like, oh, well, what happened and all this. Like, it's not that easy to try and. It's not that easy to play in the Prem and stuff like that. But there's so many good players there. But do you know what I mean? Once you get there, it's great. It's a great feeling and everything like that. But you know what I mean? To try and stay there is the hardest thing. You know, there could be a load of factors. You know, you get injured, it puts you back a couple of months, and there's always someone else. There's so many good players in there, they're going to get their chance. But if they take it, do you know what I mean? It puts you back. But I was quite lucky, even with all the managers I had there. Got on really well with all of them, and near enough all of them gave me a chance. So it weren't too bad for me. But it was just little, like, never had major injuries. But it was always with me where you sort of get there, then you take a little knock and it put you back, and then you get there again and put you back, and then sort of then you wouldn't get a look in for 6-7 months. You'd still be there training with them, but you wouldn't travel or you wouldn't get on the bench or nothing like that. But yeah, it was one of them. But I mean, I was there a long time, to be fair. I think I was there a bit too long. I think I should have left to try and. Because I was 24 by the time I left. Now, if you're not playing regularly or in a team or getting a good few games by that age, you know, you're never really gonna progress, I don't think. So I should have left, even though I went on loan a couple of times and enjoyed it and played a few games. I think the last year I was at Swansea, because Izzy was at Swansea when I went there on loan, and Leon Britton was there. Stayed there for a couple of months. It was really good. Enjoyed it. But then I was going to sign for them, but then the manager got the sack. So I stayed for a few more games, and no one knew it was going to happen. And when you come back, it's just about timing. You know what I mean, just circumstances all the time. What's going to happen? Yeah. But no, it was there and that. But it was good, like getting in the team, and not sort of getting in the team, but getting around the team, and then coming on, playing a few times. It was the best thing you could ever, as a young West Ham supporter as well. It's one of the best things ever.
Exactly, and that's what we've had Hodges on, we've had a few others, and you know, Hodges like, I wished I played more games. I said, yeah, but Lee, the thing is, right, you played, I don't know how many games you played, half a dozen, something like that. I said, but Lee, you know, you did, you've there's millions of people out there who would swap a hell of a lot.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? It's just to do that, and also as you said, as a boyhood West Ham fan, to do that for your family as well. I mean, you know, not only a couple of away games, but obviously you played, you played a home game as well. Yeah. So Upton Park, that must have been amazing for your family as well.
Yeah, that's it. That was one of the main things as well. Obviously, to be dad, he was a true West Ham. He'd go when he was young, go to the away games. So for him to see me come on and play for his boyhood, for his team, do you know what I mean, was something nice for us both to have. But for him to actually see me as well was probably the highlight, really, because it's like having your old man watch you play for his team. There's not a better feeling you can give back to your old man, you know. So it was really nice at the time. Like I wish I could play a few more games, but it just weren't to be. But like you say, you just got to be happy with what you got and the experience that you got, and the people I met when I was there, because I was there a long time, and I'm still best friends with a load of them. So you got to take the positives out of it.
There's loads. That's what I get through. Talking to that sort of that era of players. Everyone seems to really, and not even like necessarily from the youth level, but we've had Sinks on quite a lot, and Sinks and Johnny Artson are still good mates, and and Razor, and everyone still knocks about a bit, and particularly that, as you said, sort of yourself and Newts and people like that. There's still a lovely collective together, and that's what I mean about that sort of last period of West Ham. I I could see in 20 years' time at the Cliffs Theatre in Hornchurch, just down the road from me, so nice and easy for me to walk to. But there'd be a 1999 Youth Cup reunion, or as you said, or the Boys of '99, or as you said, or you. I would not see in 20 years' time an evening with Sebastian Haller and Felipe Anderson.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
No disrespect to them, but it's different now. Football's different.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it is. It's like you say, though. I think it was just like you say, it was the end of that team who were playing, like us as young as pros, and all the team, that team that was there. And it was coming to the end of that sort of era kind of thing. I don't know, things sort of changed, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And it was that time where everything was getting a bit more, say, professional in the game, where you get your sports sciences in, you get your dietitians. Like, we didn't sort of really have that sort of come into the last year, maybe two last year of when I was there. But that's when it all started changing a bit, Yeah.
It did, it did. And I think that around that time Wenger would have come in. Yeah, and that's when it sort of really kicked off.
Yeah. And it started changing it a bit. But which is good, which is the right way. But it's like you say, you do lose a few characters who are sort of back in that era that way, like a Razor or someone like that, you know what I mean? Kind of people, which was good in the dressing room.
It was, and as you said, you're training with these guys, and you play, and you're talking, you're conversing with them, they're giving you advice, day on day. So it's, it's not just the game time, but as you said, but it is just the experience of going into training every day. Coming from Slough every day, or and then obviously moving down with you and Newts together. It's it's the whole experience. As you said, no one can take those experiences away from you. And who was you a boot boy to anyone?
A boot boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? I was quite lucky. So I think the first year, Ian Bishop.
Oh.
But it was lovely guy. He's a great player. But he weren't. I think he was injured most, because it was the year. I think he left that year, got released, so we weren't playing that much. So I had a touch.
My work here is done.
But then I think and then the second year was even better. I had Richard Hall. I don't think he played a game because he was injured. He didn't even train. So I only think I cleaned his boots twice. He was just in the gym doing a bit of running, so he had his trainers on, so I was all right. So I had a touch, to be fair, with the boots.
Oh, it's funny. I asked that question. It's so funny. We've had I think Bertie had Paolo, and then like Christmas, Paolo gave him he thought he was going to get a good tip, and he got him a pair of his boots. He gave him a pair of boots that were 3 sizes too small for Bertie, with no shoelaces. He was like, "Thanks, Paolo."
Yeah, sounds like Paolo, to be fair.
And they didn't. I think Newts was righty, and then righty was introduced to Newts, and he was like, "Oh, that's it. Put me with another brother," or something. In front of the whole, everyone was like pissing themselves. But I love it, man.
I had a touch, to be fair, because it was like I said. Yeah, I think when I was that age, I think Bishop must have been in his last year, so I don't think he was playing that much, to be fair. And then obviously Richard Hall. So I don't know. Did he play Richard Hall? Did he play a game?
Very few.
He was injured.
Yeah, we had a few like that. We had him. We had Simon Webster as well. He got injured. Julian did him in, didn't he? In the training, unfortunately, broke his leg.
Yeah,
Richard Hall.
He ended up being like the physio side, didn't he?
Yeah.
We had a lovely geezer. I spent a lot of time with him there, to be fair. So he a lovely fella he was, Simon.
Yeah, no, Richard only made about 8 appearances, so yeah, not a lot of boots being cleaned.
So I was all right. But to be fair, then, but that was it. I didn't get any tips. I think Rich might have gave us a tip. To be fair, I think he might have left by the time Christmas came. I'm not too sure.
So he wants a transfer just before Christmas.
I think that's what happened.
Oh, I love it, Shawnee. Right? Yeah, I think your name came up in conversation when I was interviewing a guy called Mick, who lives in Sweden. And it would have been a tour of Sweden pre-season. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we did go to Sweden. Yeah, I think it was with Glenn.
Yeah, and it involved.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it involved. Well, it was mainly Don. It was Don and Repka. And you were the sort of behind the little one. And apparently it was something about Repka, and Mick collects, he has almost like 800 match-worn shirts of West Ham. Incredible collection. And he tried to get, and he lives in Sweden, so he tried to get Thomas to sign a shirt. It was a Czech Republic shirt, and it was a number 5 shirt. And he was like, "No, Repka number 2, it's not my shirt." And he went, "It is your shirt, Thomas. It is your shirt." And I think he spoke to Dom, and he said, and he gave Don the picture. And I think you and Don at breakfast put it like where he sits for breakfast, and apparently he just went in, and then he went into a rage and never came down.
Do you know what? It's the most loveliest geezer in the world, but you just couldn't work him out.
No,
Thomas, it was just like that. It's lovely, loveliest fellow in the world, but you wouldn't get much out of him. You wouldn't get much out of him. You're like talking wise and all that lot. But again, lovely man and all that lot. But no, he was like that. You never knew of him if he was winding you up. Because he was always straight-faced and the way he was, or he was being serious.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
But the thing is, if he is being serious, you're going to wind him up even more, aren't you? So that's what we used to see everyone used to do with him, just to try and get a reaction out of him.
Yeah, or someone, when they used to get the guys cleaning, someone else mentioned it when they were at Chadwell Heath watching and a training session, and they had the car cleaners in, and one of them reversed Thomas's car. He's had like a Ferrari or something. Or
yeah, no, he did, straight into the change room, I remember. He did. Brand new Ferrari.
It
was lovely. It was blue. It was. I remember it. I don't think he reversed it. I think he put it in to drive instead of reverse or something, and he went forward and he smashed it straight into the changing room. He was serious then when that happened.
Yeah, that's what they said. The poor kid doing the car washing was.
Oh, mate, can you imagine? I just remember. I sort of remember it. I remember it, and I just remember the kid's face, and I remember I think he would have killed him, Thomas. I think people were holding him back, to be honest with you. That was how you get your car cleaned and smashes into the changing room. Oh, brilliant. I
love him. Even when cause we're trying to get him on, but he doesn't speak a lot of English at the moment. Yeah, is what he claims. But even when he messages me, it still scares me.
Yeah.
And it's just a message. You know, he's in the Czech Republic. He's not going to get me.
Yeah.
But I just think he's almost like typing it really aggressively.
Yeah. I spent quite a bit of time with him, actually. It was all right. I didn't mind him as a fella. He was a nice fella, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's a top
good player, great player as well, good player. Because I remember when he came, where's his debut got sent off, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got sent off.
And then he got sent
his
off
first three.
The game after as well.
Yeah.
Because when we got sent off, you could play a week later, and then your red card wouldn't come into the other week, would it? But then he got sent off again in 2 games, didn't he?
Typical West Ham player, isn't he?
Yeah. And then what was the other game? Really trying to beat a fan up on one of the games.
There was something I think where he shouted at the fan and
attack a fan and said something. Oh, we don't want to mess with him. I know that.
No, but then obviously the last game of the last game he played at West Ham when everyone knew he was going, you know, they all singing Super Thomas Repka. Yeah. I don't think anyone sang to him, you know, from the fans, and so he was bawling his eyes out and stuff. So
he was a good player, but it was just like you say, you never know how he would react or try. He was nice enough fella in that, but trying to interact with him because he was so stone faced all the time, you never know. But it's the way he played, like even in training, and just kick you up in the air all the time. Yeah, that's what it was like.
But that's it, you know. He trained the way he played, didn't he? Yeah, so fair play to him. Right, okay, we're gonna do your Hammers 11. So basically, what we do is everyone we get on the channel, apart from Harry actually and Bish, because you know Harry started talking about Bobby Ferguson in the 60s. Then he had a meeting. He had a meeting at 6, a business meeting, so obviously couldn't do it. And
the racing was probably on.
Exactly, the racing was probably on, or something like that, or Bish because he didn't want to offend anyone. But Bish, he's just not such a nice bloke, isn't he? Everyone else has done 11. So the idea is you put 11 together of the players that you trained and played with. Obviously not the people you played with, but trained or played with, because and you can put whoever you want, but it's just a bit of a giggle. That's
yeah, no worries.
So let's start between the sticks. Who would be between the sticks? For the Byrne 11.
See, I've put a bit of thought into all this.
Good.
Obviously, because I've not played as many first team games as the others. Like you say, you can train with them, and we had good youth side. So I've gone for a little mix of both.
Nice.
So I've gone for Bywater in goal.
Nice, Steve. Oh, I love Stephen.
One of the funniest geezers, thickest geezers, but funniest geezers I've ever known in my life.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's such
brilliant.
Good value.
So
we had him on the channel, and he was brilliant because he'd just come back from walking his dog. And had these stupid, your kids are upstairs anyway. He had this stupid fucking hat on, honestly, like this woolly one with like the ears, and he didn't realise he had it on. And we started interviewing. He was like, he left it on. But I found him so honest, so like
brilliant character he was to have, but such a good goalkeeper, absolute brilliant.
Yeah.
So I've got him as sticks. So I'm going for 3 at the back.
Yeah.
I'm going for Rio.
Rio.
For me, the best ever to come out of West Ham for me.
Yeah.
I think. Especially being a youngster and watching him come through at his age and stuff like that, just how comfortable he was on the ball. It was just easy for him. Like them, you get them players who work hard to be good. He was just naturally good, brilliant player.
And exactly, and as you'd have seen him from a younger age, so to speak,
for a younger age,
so
coming through and stuff like that. But there's people like him where you want to go to West Ham, so he's young, so you will get your chance, like you said earlier, and stuff like that.
Totally.
So he sort of set like the benchmark for a lot of us younger players, So it was really good.
Definitely.
Then, so beside Rio, I've got Izzy.
Yeah, good old Izzy.
For me, Izzy, like I've watched him on yours before, like he was saying, he did get a bad injury, but for me, he could have been one of the best players, I think, going. He did get a bad injury, but he was our youth, he was our captain and stuff like that. But he's such a good player. It was such a bad injury he got, and it did set him back big time. So he would have been a lot better.
And I think with Izzy as well, I think and again, it's similar to like as you said, similar to Hodgie and similar to Newts as well. They took the decision to drop down and had a good career in playing for Swansea and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not just, I know you like you say before, and I know a lot of people will know, it's all right, West Ham, but a lot of these players went on to have really, really decent careers just at lower level, knocking up a load of games, It's a fair play to them. A lot of people, especially in our youth team, who dropped down division or two, come out and played like 300-400 games, you know what I mean? So they've done really well for themselves.
Totally. I mean, you have your as you said, your Rios and whatnot, but then you've also, the guys who have, as you said, someone like Izzy or Adam, 200 games for Peterborough and Hodgie, Scunthorpe, it's, as you said, they've come and done the job. I mean, even to be fair, Stephen really, realistically, only played a few games really when he got going, and then but played for some other clubs and had a great success at those clubs as well. So
there's a good few there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so the other one I've gone for a 40, Terrell.
Oh, Terrell, yeah, we'll get him on soon.
I love Terrell. The reason I got with him, it's brilliant. I mean, obviously played in the youth team with him, knew him from since schoolboys, but he was just one of the guys who loved football. Even now, what he does with his coach, he just loved football. And one of the reasons I've gone, because where we used to train, you always wanted him in your team.
Yeah.
Because if he was against you, he was an absolute nightmare. He was like a rash, he'd be all over. You'd do a 5-a-side or a kickball. Joe just one of them who was in your face. Like, he'd train how he played. He was so good at it. And he'd just be all over you. But don't get me wrong, comfortable on the ball, good player. But you always wanted him on your team. Because Jay's just one of them. You're end up treading on your toes, giving you an elbow. And he's like, I'd say he's training, come on. And he's like, no, like that. So I'd always want him on my team.
But you always have been, that's one thing that, that Darryl said the other day, all of you were comfortable on the ball. I said, whether it was Terrell, as a centre-back or Izzy, or Rio, you've picked three guys who could all play at centre-back, and to be honest, Rio, played a few games in midfield. I think he played right wing-back once.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was so good about him. He could do that. That's like with Rio for me. So when he played, you could just see how calm he was on the ball. He'd bring it out, just how comfortable he was. And you very rarely used to get that from centre-backs, you know what I mean, when he did play at the back. So that's what I just loved about Rio, to be fair. But that's me back three.
Nice.
So I'm going for the wing-backs.
Go on in.
Right. So this was, out of all the positions, the right wing-back was the hardest one. So, name a few. Obviously, you could have Trev.
Yeah.
And remember Sebastian Schemmel?
Do you know what? He was in mine. He was in my team. Yeah. Great player. Do you know where Seb is now?
I ain't got a clue. Yeah.
He lives. I'm trying to track him down. Sorry. I try to track him down. He lives he's in Luxembourg. He owns a bar restaurant called Upton Park.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, fair play, mate.
Love it.
But the person I have gone for, obviously, because I've known him from day dot, is Adam Newton.
Yeah. Fair to say, he didn't put it in. I'll get a text from him.
He'll probably texting me after he watches it. Saying what?
Everyone does. It's so funny. I find it really, really funny. But yeah, Newts. You got to put Newts in.
Yeah. And then obviously, I'm going to throw myself in then because I played with him at left wing back.
Exactly. You've got to put yourself in, Shaun.
Give me two. Yeah.
You can't really big yourself up too much, though.
No, I know, but I thought as it's my team and I play with him.
You've got to get the appearances up anyway, so that's
it. What's that? 3 I've got now then, probably.
Yeah, exactly. We got. Let me just put you in. So you got Short. Yeah, you got yourself left wing back. You got Newt's right wing back. So yes, we're all right so far.
Right. Then they've got the middle 3.
Yes.
Right. Great middle 3, to be fair. So I've got Michael Carrick.
I can sense it already. I can sense a good one coming. It's like I can see the era. So it's like, yeah, Michael Carrick. Talk to me about Michael.
Do you know what? It's like he says, like, I first met him when I was about 14. We went to the Milk Cup.
Yeah.
And obviously, the first time I see him, I was rooming with him. So I met him then, but then always sort of like kept in contact with him. He'd come down in the holidays when we'd have games at West Ham. But like, he was good then, but he just seemed to come on so much in like the first year. So I remember he used to play up front. He did. And he used to score goals and everything, but then he sort of come back down midfield. But he was just another one, just made the game look so
Yeah.
easy. Do you know, people have always got time on the ball, always had it.
Yeah, that's what they always say about Michael Carrick, innit? He just had time on the ball.
But like, you can't teach that. Do you know what I mean? It's something he had and the way he played. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause to be fair, I think he's probably underrated, if you know what I mean, by a lot of people for what he's done and the way he plays and that. But he was brilliant then. And to be fair, because it was obviously you had Coley, so it's like Mike says, he sort of came under the radar a bit because everything was sort of about Joe at the time, so he didn't have all the pressure on him as much as Coley did, so which was probably helped him a bit as well coming in. But no, for me, such a good player. I mean, you don't stay at Man U for that long and win what you win. No. You know what I mean? If you're not that good of a player, do you know what I mean?
Not at all. And I think with Carrick as well, he's one of those players, and you look at the 3 clubs he played for realistically, in terms of a longevity. So obviously West Ham left, never really replaced him. Spurs never really replaced him. Man United never really replaced him. He's one of these players, you don't know what you've got to. It's gone. It's a bit like Declan Rice now, right? People are going, everyone's like, apart from West Ham, people are going, oh, well, Declan Rice is all right. No, literally, he's the glue which holds the team together.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly
and that's so Mickey Carrick. And, and we were saying before we started how, we no surprise that Darryl got, into management and and Richie, and Carrick was the same. They all had a ball at their feet all the time and stuff like that. So,
but they just loved the game. They just like lived and breathed football. They loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. So that, you know what I mean? That's probably why, like you said, they've gone the way they did.
Yeah.
So then I've got Joe Cole.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Coley. I remember it was weird because when we first you always heard of Joe before I see him play, obviously, because when we used to play, he was like a year younger, but he was at Lillyshaw, so you wouldn't see him as much when we'd play on the weekend. But he'd come and you could hear all his side. But I remember the first time just watching him when we played in the game with him, just walking around laughing. Things he used to do to players, it was not being like bad on the other players, but you just what's he doing? He was that good, good. And to do what he done, and from such a young age, the pressure, he was in the papers and everything, and the people were writing about him.
Yeah.
And at such a young age, to do what he done and the way he done it, fair play to him. Because a lot of people
I totally agree.
Cope with what he coped with, growing up.
Yeah, I don't think people would be able to.
Fair play to him.
I mean, he was the first. I mean, it's a bit different now. We know people like Jude Bellingham and stuff like that. Not Bellingham. Someone used to work with Bellingham. Jude Bellingham and play people like that. It's like about them at 15, 16. But Joe was the first one I remember. Everyone's going, this kid, you got to keep an eye on this kid. He's going to be good. And I mean, we're having him on eventually. And that's one of the questions I'd love to ask him about pressure, because it doesn't matter what anyone says.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter even if he says he wasn't under. He was under.
Yeah. That's
no
what I
way
mean.
two ways about it.
Play it off, but there must have been loads of them that young. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people thrive in it, but you must still feel it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the same again. You hear, and then to actually produce and do what he done when people are talking, because you hear so many times of people at that age, 14, 15, this boy's going to be this boy, and then they don't get nowhere. So to do what he done, that's off to him. It's a great player.
Yeah. Great. So we've got Coley Carrick.
And then obviously Frank Lampard.
Yeah, got to beat Frank in.
Just unbelievable player. I'm sure people have spoke to him before, like his work ethic and everything, the way he trained.
Yeah.
Like to get as good as he got because he put everything into it. Do you know what I mean? Deserves everything he got. Great player. And a great fella as well, to be fair. Nice fella. We always chat to him. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Give you advice. So for me, he's definitely got to be in there.
Yeah, and as you said, he just and I mean, as you said, your family's fans and stuff. There was always that, still is really about Fat Frank. Me calling Fat Frank, I'm about 20 stone. I'm not, it's always ironic, but he's, as you said, people we've had a lot of the ex-Hammers, a lot of ex-Pros like yourself. They're all saying, he would be out for hours after. Be the first one in and then the first one out, in terms of
days off and stuff. Like it was probably where, like you say, like Fat Frank, and it's probably the West Ham supporters who made him the player he was. Because
that's what I think.
And with his dad being, he had something to prove, so that's why he done it. You always see him out shooting balls hours after practicing, like running spikes on and doing like drills and stuff like that to try and get sharp. So fair play to him.
Yeah. Sounds good, right? Isn't that the 2010 midfield for the World Cup? I think it could be. Tony Carr did his at Hammers 11, and it was like he did it as the academy, and apart from Stephen, bless him, who was in, everyone else was in that 2010 World Cup squad. Mental, like JT and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I let him have John Terry. It's the only time he's appeared in a West Ham Miami's 11.
That's what I mean. When we were young, I remember JT being at West Ham. We were there as kids. Konchesky was there when we were like kids. J. Lloyd Samuel was there. Bobby Zamora when we were kids before. Like even back then, loads of players.
Yeah. He left and came back. A lot of them left and came back, didn't it? It's quite funny. Yeah. A bit like a boomerang club. And Joe did the same thing.
Yeah.
So right. Okay, up front then. Who are we having up front?
See.
Oh, here we go.
It's hard, this. Obviously, because with the youth, so we have people like Amos, Bertie, and stuff like that. But for me, first one I've gone for Jermaine Defoe. Have to.
Yeah.
One of the best finishers I've ever seen.
That's literally, it's almost like that. It's almost that should be his name. That should be his name. Because everyone says Jermaine Defoe, the best striker they've seen.
He was unbelievable. It was weird, even like when he used to mark the player. He was only small, but he was one of the strongest players ever. Like his body and everything, you couldn't get anywhere near him. But he was just so sharp, and he was always one of them. You give him a chance and he score. Yeah. Very rarely miss, and always grab your goals. So I've put him in,
and still score him.
Yeah, well that's it, and he will. Yeah, great player, and he looks after himself. Still looks fit, doesn't he, and sharp. And you know what I mean? So he's always took care of himself. So yeah. But for me, even in the youth team, and then obviously when he went on and played. I mean, everywhere he went. I mean, we went on loan to Bournemouth at the start, didn't he? Just bagged a load of goals. Everywhere he went. He just, like, especially to be in that position and play for West Ham at that age and score the goals, you know what I mean? Just show he was just that good, he was, for me. He was brilliant.
Yeah, he was good. All right, Jermaine's there.
See, this, obviously, you talk about Paolo and Kits. So I still speak to Kits. Kits is still a good pal of mine. But I'm going to have to go for my mate Rich Garcia.
Oh, because he's coming on, that's why, isn't it?
No. Joe, what? Obviously, knew Rich when he came over when he was 15, and he was such a good player. Rich had a good few bad injuries as well. I think he'd done his cruciate a few times. I think two, maybe three times. I'm not too sure. But he picked himself up and done well. And it was nice to see him because obviously he dropped down, went to Colchester. Then when Hull come up, it was nice to see him get back in the Premier League and play a good few games in the Premier League, with Hull. So it was nice to see him where he's gone down and then come back up to see the potential he should have been playing at, Definitely. So, and he's a good power of mine, so I'm going to put him in.
There we go. Very, very, very wise, very wise, very wise, Shaun. And that's the team. Where is it? Where's the team? We bring the team. There is. There's the team. God, tasty. I'd move Rio. I'd put Rio, put Izzy on the right and back three, and Rio in the middle. But that's tasty, man.
That'll do me for a team.
That'll do you for a team. Champions League, having a laugh. We'll get there with that one.
Great midfield, that.
Oh, yeah, and it just shows you, doesn't it? When you, and that's why I love doing these things, because you put teams together and you're thinking that three played together. Yeah. It's like.
That's what I'm saying. But even like myself, when you look at them, you think, "Hey, think about I played with him." So you have to sort of tell yourself that sometimes, So it's nice doing it and looking back and seeing some of the players like you try, because a load of players come and go. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's hundreds.
You try and think of who it is. But I could have put so many more players in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
But
could have done
it's,
3
I thought I
teams.
just do it to the people I spent the most time with playing, and then
like it.
people who actually I thought were obviously something else, like Rios, your Franks, your Coleys, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But no, that not a bad team.
Brilliant. Cheers, Shaun. It's been brilliant chatting to you, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Nah, thanks for having us on, mate. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching as well. Whether you're watching it on the podcast or YouTube, whatever, give it a like, give it a share. And from myself and from Shaun, myself and from Shaun. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye-bye.